All right, what's good, man? What's good? What's good? Let's talk a little boxing, man. I'm under the weather, so this might be a little shorter than usual. So I feel a little sick today. But you know how it goes. We keep it rolling. We keep it rolling. What's going on, Messiah? Messiah? Donald, the 64-year-old G. What's going on? TC the crisis. Not Raja. Damali, the plant-based pugilist. What's happening with you, man? What's good with everybody out there? Let me DMV in the building, man. Let me get to this. Let me do something real quick, man. Get to the channel members. I appreciate you guys for your support. My man, the goalkeeper 3000, ILG Jones. Yo, Woot. Oh, shit. That shit just disappeared, man. Whoa, there you go. All right, there you go. Yo, Woot. Time to ante up. Main event, Mark. Carver Williams. Ms. Boxing. Pugilism and Politics. What's going on, man? Mr. King, Texas. Rasul Sabor, Two Left Hooks, Eric Jenkins, the King Daniel McCrae, Mass Arms, Queen 71, CVP Jr., I Am, Raider Time, Jay Good, Mr. Already, Crush the Legend, Robert Hollister, Hated or Love It TV, Adawile M, Lies the Punch Out TV, I Rock, D Style Boxing, Richard Larkin, CJ, Juniper B, Matthew Valentine, Juan Lejeune, Daryl Zapata, T1 rapper, Tony Fielder, Gravy Davy, the expert genius, Ivan Garcia, Underground Asylum, BFTB Boxing, Emmanuel Joseph Bain, Brothers Moses, Chris Jones, Sonny's Boxing Talk, Ghetto Life Boxing, D Money, my man Gregory Wyatt, my man Anthony Johnson, Romario Harris, Messiah, 78 Sports TV, DJ Yo, Kenneth Johnson, Drink More Water. Man, I need to drink more water. Sugar Fantastic, TC the Crisis, J.A. Dixon, True to God, Lowest Common Denominator Boxing, the home of the demographic. Buddy Lee Sr., Mr. 704, Brian S., Daryl D. Henderson, Jeff the producer, Bert from Mardican, the Cali Enigma, and the great African sci-fi scholar. What is good with everybody in all the members in the chat? Let me get some of the great non-members that we have. Not Roger, Damala the plant-based pugilist, James, Michael James S. What's going on with you? Reggie Cheese, Harold Jones, Mr. Big, Mike Biggs Boxing, Leon Robinson, Mark Harrison, and everybody else that is in the chat, man. What's good, man? I'm just sick, man. I'm sick, man. I had the crazy bug this morning. I had some videos early this morning. It was like just started, shaking and all kind of craziness, man. There's a little bug going around my house. It got me big time, man. Got me big time. So, but we gonna fight it through, man. He said, for not rocking that tracksuit yesterday. What? Did you see me on the tracksuit? How you see me in the track? I put it on the video. Yeah. Yeah, that's my wife. They got me that for Christmas. It's a new style. It's the new style with the skinny ankles and all that. Yeah, man. Dan for 9 international. Get better. Thanks, man. Hey, Miss Boxing, I'm sorry to hear that your page got hacked. I was on Sporting Icons channel, and bro, they hate Wilder. All negative reviews and comments. We don't hate AJ. We just think he's a sucker. Look, man, that dude is just. Don't pay attention to that dude, man. That dude gets paid for that. That dude gets paid for that, and they eating crow. Those guys just eating crow. By the way, take this crow over to them. They lied about those pay-per-view numbers. I might have talked about it yesterday. Oh, the what Errol Spence drama? Oh, nothing. I mean, he didn't cause any drama. He had a car accident, and there was a gun found near his car accident. Very expensive gun, and people are assuming it's his, and they're assuming that he had a gun on him when he got in the car accident, which means just about this. So what? This is Texas. Texas is an open carry. Texas is an open. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. It's an open carry state. It's legal to do that. That's nothing. There's nothing illegal about that. That's a big so what. But if you're not from the state of Texas, you don't know. You think, maybe he's breaking the law. If you're from New York and it's illegal in New York to have a handgun in New York, that's illegal in New York. It's not illegal. It's not illegal in Texas. So it just doesn't mean anything. So what? That's like you find somebody smoking weed in Washington, D.C. So what? It's legal. It's smoking weed in it's legal. There's literally nothing wrong with that. He has the right to do that. Let me rephrase that. It's not just legal, it's his right to carry one. He has the right to carry arms. I can't remember what amendment that is, but is that the Fifth Amendment? The right to bear arms? He has the right to bear arms. And in Texas, that means the way that the Texas Supreme Court interprets that is it's okay for you to carry any gun. You can carry the Second Amendment. Thank you, man. I'm terrible with that shit. Should be better. The Second Amendment. He has the right to bear arms. Why would you criticize a guy for carrying out his constitutional right? Yeah, it's a second. Oh man, yeah, that ain't your. They don't have a right to do that unless she approves. But yeah, see, man. So it's like, why would you even make it like it's? But here's the thing: when you put that out there, and people don't know that, you don't fill in the gaps. What's going on? Drink more water, and you don't fill in the gaps. You let people to their imagination, or if you don't think about it for a second yourself, because the report that I saw said that they didn't know if they were going to charge him because they couldn't connect the gun to him, and that, from what I understand, is not the case because he has the right to carry one. They're going to give him his gun back if it's his. If it's his. What if it's not his? If they found somebody else's gun. They said they couldn't connect it to him. So I assume that they would have told that Errol Spence would have been asked about the gun and asked if it was his. Like if he left, but like the question would be the same as if you dropped your wallet. Oh, I dropped your wallet. I don't see an ID in here. Is this your wallet? Yeah, that's my wallet. Thank you. It flew out of the car during the accident. It's just a silly thing to talk about. Juniper P. Meanwhile, Kovalev beating women and dogs, and no one feels the need to warn him about his behavior. Look, man, these guys are hypocrites. They're hypocrites, and the boxing media now is what's going on. Look, man, much love in that super chat. Hated or love it TV, man. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you. Stanley Brown, he better because someone will try and hurt him because he's a boxer and successful. Hey, man, you have the right to do it. That's why you don't play with people in Texas. I know that these people can carry guns, so I figured better not to get in any arguments with anybody and mind my business before somebody misinterprets what I have to say, and all of a sudden I feel that hot sting shoot through my back, something like that. So I'm behind who had a gun. Oh, Errol Spence Jr. had a gun in Texas. You're from El Paso, D-Style, so you know he's in Texas with a gun. Surprise, surprise. Ryan Clark, Straight Facts. What's good, man? Pull counter boxes. Did y'all see that Errol Spence Instagram where Errol's daughter was on the video game? Oh, yeah, he said, man, you drive like your daddy. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think the dude, people just looking for stuff to say, man, looking for something scandalous. He said, yeah, D-Style said, yeah, it's legal. In other news, World War III. Oh, yeah, in other news, look like Terrence Crawford said he don't run from the smoke, Woolbag. Drink more water. Drink more water said he doesn't run from the smoke, man. That's what he says. You believe it? He said he don't run from the smoke. He runs to the smoke. Where's the smoke? Where's the smoke, man? When's he gonna run to the smoke? He said can't nobody make him go into the smoke. But now he runs to the smoke. Which one is it? Ron Finger said Tank is food, but Santa Cruz is good, I guess. No, he's not. You've been waiting for that? Ron Finkley, I've been seeing you've been waiting for that. No, Tank is not food. And Santa Cruz, Leo Santa Cruz is good. Leo Santa Cruz is a good fighter. I don't see the issues here. I don't see the issue. Kurt, what's going on, man? Salute, hey man, salute Ron Figley in that super chat. Hey, salute Curtis Adams, man. KP from KC said, "We'll be a fireman," like Teddy Atlas said, but hey, man, I don't believe it, homie. I don't believe it. But y'all trying to pick on Tank. That shit ain't working. Okay? Tank knocked that boy out, man. Oh, Tank, Leo called out Tank. Okay, cool. They can fight. Go down to 130, meet at 130. Let Tank beat him up. Sounds good to me. Why can't he? Didn't Lomachenko beat up a bunch of 126 pounders? What's wrong with that? Hey, man, Anthony De La Garza, man. Much love for the new for joining the Patreon, man. Thank you very much. I just did a video that we're gonna upload today. It's called Rewatch, and it is Mike Tyson versus James Quick Tillis on Rewatch. That is coming up. We filmed it. I mean, I got it. I did it. Got the little bit of editing. We're gonna put that up. Great year. Oh, Dexter Brown said, great year, great new year, Fanon from Trinidad. Your show was totally enjoyed. Keep grinding. Thanks, man. You know, today is a grind, man, because a Texas had a gun. Man, yeah, that's like surprise, surprise. Yeah, man, James Quick Tillis. Man, James Quick Tillis was piecing up Mike Tyson. James Quick Tillis was piecing up Mike Tyson, man. Mike Tyson looked mighty suspect for them uppercuts, man. He looked mighty suspect with them uppercuts, some straight rights. Was dinging Mike. Dinging Mike. Not until he was dinging up the whole fight. That went the distance. That went 12 rounds. He was dinging him up the whole time. He didn't knock out James Quick Tillis. He said, "Oh, Tillis got a chin. He went 12 rounds of shavers." Yeah, man. Check it out, man. We're going through it. It is for sure. Now, the last guy before he fought that, who he did that, now he pieced him up. But Mike got a nice body shot, man. Said, who? Jacob's face Chavez Jr. Oh, yeah. That's all that crazy. Yeah, Bert said, you right, Fernand. Yeah, man, he's piecing up Mike. James Quick Tillis was handed. But let me put it this way. If they hated Mike, they would have said Mike lost that fight. But I think Mike got a knockdown. But whoa, man, Mike did this inside pivot on him that was ugly. James Tillis got lucky. Reached with a left hook, missed with a left hook, overran it. Tyson pivoted out, caught his ass on the way out. Boom! That was something nice, man. Curtis Adams said James Tillis was a very tricky fighter. Very tricky fighter, man. Very tricky. They love him now. They hated him before. Man, they hated Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson was coming up, they hated Mike Tyson, man. Hated Mike Tyson. I don't know if there's too many Black American heavyweights that were ever really liked. I mean, Joe Louis. That's about it. They were really liked. And that was because of that World War stuff, because he went to the war. But I don't know. I don't really know of any Black American heavyweights who were ever really liked by mainstream America. Nah, Holyfield wasn't loved. Man, Holyfield was just indifferent. People would watch his fight, but they were indifferent to Holyfield. I wouldn't say they liked him. You know what I mean? Like Joe was abused. Yeah, Joe was abused. Trevor Berg, you said they like Trevor Berg. Are you being serious? You think they like Trevor Berg? Oh yeah, it is. Look, man, but boxing media right now is really pushed by these promoters, man. There's got to be payola out there, man. And I did a video today. Check out the video that I did. Oh yeah, they were looking forward to Tommy Morrison. Hey, they were looking forward to Baby Joe Mesa too. Real big time. Baby Joe Mesa got his head cracked or something. Maybe Floyd Patterson, I think. But Floyd Patterson was more like they didn't want him to fight somebody they really didn't like. So I think there are guys that would fight the people that they really didn't like. Really didn't like Muhammad Ali. Really didn't like Sonny Liston. Really didn't like Jack Johnson. Really didn't like him. Was despised. They got behind Tommy Morrison until Ray Mercer. Okay, yeah, that'll happen. They liked Joe Frazier until they didn't need him to beat Ali. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll be more like, yeah, we'll root for Joe Frazier because we want Muhammad Ali to lose. It's not a situation where those cats were really, really loved, which is why when these people talk about heavyweights in the United States need to be really, really big and like why they aren't so big and all that. Like, dude, they have never really loved Black American heavyweights. It's never been the case. I mean, it's very rarely the case. You can name it on the hands. For the most part, it's that they hate them, and you get a lot of press and stuff behind the fact that they hated him. Like Mike Tyson. Once Mike Tyson went to jail, Mike Tyson was reviled. Okay, reviled. When he started talking all that craziness, started going off and doing all that, man, they couldn't stand Mike Tyson, man. But Mike Tyson sold a lot because there was a lot of interest around him. But he was more of a guy that had the black hat around him. So, I mean, what happens with Deontay Wilder really shouldn't be that much of a surprise. Because they don't really, Americans, see, here's the thing, man. Americans, you might not like this, man, but I'm going to tell you like it is, man. For you guys in the UK and outside the United States, within the United States, we are not really considered Americans. Like, when somebody says make America great again, they're not talking about me, okay? There is a large point in time, dude, that we were literally not citizens. And after that became second-class citizens. And people were really pissed off that we even became second-class citizens. Okay. So when you guys say things like spoiled Americans, it's like, what are you talking about, man? This is pretty much what held up the black fighters is the black community. It's never been a situation where we've been loved in America at all. I mean, unless somebody can point me to some time when that was the case. Mr. Boxing Today, what's going on? He said they need to sit down somewhere and let me do the heavyweight boxing talk. Pretty much, yes. Man, I was enjoying your live stream yesterday morning, man. Man, dude, you spit that shit, God dog. When you went through Tuesday night fights, I was like, man, I remember that. But I can't remember the fights, man. Mr. Boxing Today, when you were talking about how your friend would, you were at a basketball game playing, but you were thinking about who won the Mike Tyson fight. Man, I remember the same thing. I remember going through that same thing, man. We were like, man, did Mike Tyson win? Because you had something going on, you couldn't see the fight. He said they fought for and took our citizen. Absolutely, man. So, Jake, Sugar Fantastic, much love. Man. For you UK dudes, or people outside the United States, when you hold like Americans against you, you Americans are so spoiled. This shit sounds crazy. To me, it sounds crazy. Like, it sounds crazy because we actually we don't get that treatment our fighters do not get that treatment in the United States, man. They do not get that treatment. You got to be exceptionally way above and beyond or be on a team sport. Like you can be loved on a team sport because those team sports are associated with a city. And the city, there's some city pride to that. And you're playing for an owner for the team, for that team. But you just don't see all that love and all that nonsense, man. I mean, please, people don't get treated all like, oh, you're an Olympic gold medalist. Oh, you're a nice looking. Tell me who this sounds like. A nice looking, gentlemanly Olympic gold medalist, undefeated Olympic gold medalist. You would think that in the United States would mean that you're the biggest thing in boxing. Dude, they rode our American fans, rode with Sergey Kovalev. They rode with Sergey Kovalev, a wife-beating racist, a dog-beating, woman-kicking racist from the UK. I mean, from Russia, from who's supposed to be somebody, a Russian, the evil Russians. Dude, they will ride with a Russian, a woman-beating Russian over an Olympic gold medalist, over a black Olympic gold medalist with a wife and kids who ain't never broke a law in their life. They'll ride with that dude in a minute. The best you can hope they'll do is just ignore him. They tried to put the black hat on Andre Ward. All people that it's almost impossible to put that hat on. They tried it. Stormy B man, salute to you for 9 on those points. Second class doesn't mean you pass. Exactly. And Sugar Fantastic, much love in that building, the super chat. So look, man, that is going to happen, homie. And it's like it's just crazy. We talking about in America, it's black fighters. Oh, you demographic. We're the demographic. You hear that? Like, think about this. That fuck boy out there with the pimply face, that pimply face fuck boy, calls us the demographic. The demographic. The rude, ghetto, ignorant demographic. What is a demographic? It's a subsection of the whole, right? He's talking about black people. He's talking about black people. That's the same thing that I'm describing for you. That's a dog whistle for black people. And I was actually going back, much love in that super chat, Mr. Boxing today. And I was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter about that. And they were trying to tell me, they said something to me like, oh, he's just, first of all, Dougie Fisher was the first one to say it. But I don't think Dougie Fisher, and I'm being real honest here, I don't think Dougie Fisher meant it like that. I think Dougie Fisher was talking about black fans that are rude as shit to him. And he'll say, he said the demographic. Now, I think that was a real unfortunate term that he used, but Steve Kim jumped on that shit. And he used that shit as a joke throughout a whole. I only heard him say that one, and he explained what he meant. But when Steve Kim used it, he used it like the N-word. He used that shit like the N-word, dude. In multiple tweets, back to back to back to back to back to back. Back to back to back to back to back, cracking ha 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 ha. It's just not funny, man. It's just not funny, man. But the guy told us, oh, you just don't understand. You know, he was just talking about the ones, the really ghetto ones. Look what he said. He just talking about the really ghetto ones with with low IQs. Dude, low IQ is another dog whistle for nigga. When they call you call you low IQ, they're calling you a nigga. That's all that shit is. Because they've been taught that that's a trait of black people, is that it has a low IQ. That's the dog whistle they use. They know they can't use those words anymore, and they use those same dog whistles. Nothing has changed. They just think they're cute in the phrasing. So I told this guy, look, man, so what are you telling me? He didn't mean that? Well, what? He said, oh, you just hate the truth. I said, okay, so what's the truth? The truth is that what all low people, all poor people are stupid, or that Dougie Fisher is a psychologist and he interviewed and he tested a large section of people, determined what their IQ was, and said everybody below 90 is the demographic. No, you morons think that you guys would like to think that all black people are stupid. So you sit there and you use them fucking dog whistles and act like we can't just say that we know what you mean. That's what you mean. It's in the context of what you're saying. The only people you refer to like that are black people. So why would I believe if you're talking about low IQ people? Shit, there's all kind of low IQ people of every race, creed, color, religion. You mean all of them? Or do you just mean the ones that are fans of the PBC? The PBC caters to the lowest common denominator in boxing. Last time I checked that, a large number of the boxing fans that watch that go to PBC fighters are black fighters, or black fans watching black fighters. And Mexican fans watching black and Mexican fighters, and black fans watching Mexican fighters. So which one is the low IQ guy? He said, for now, I got a 500 IQ just by himself. I'm not stupid. I'll tell you that. But it should be no surprise that Deontay Wilder's not popular. It's never been the recipe for being popular. Being a black heavyweight has never been a recipe to be popular. Ever. But they come up with all kind of ways to celebrate Monster Inoue out there in Japan. That's who you want to put at the forefront of American magazines. Why? Because the promoters want you to. Because the promoters pay you to. That's why. Because the promoters pay you to. A win is a win. Errol won't do it. Jamal, I'm not sure. If it wasn't for us, Black American boxing wouldn't be shit. Dude, if it was not for Black American boxing, boxing wouldn't be shit. If it wasn't for Black American boxing, boxing wouldn't be shit. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And I mean that shit from the beginning. from the beginning. From the minute Tom Cribb fought Tom Melano back in 1790, whatever. That was the first big international sporting event. It wouldn't be shit. The techniques, the way that people fight. Now, I'm not saying it wouldn't be shit that there aren't other good fighters. I'm saying you take away the black fighters from the United States of America, and how many champions you have. Just straight up. Just retire all the black champions in America right now. How many champions would the United States of America have? Nothing. You would have Caleb Plant. You would have David Benavidez. Nothing at 154. Nothing at 147. Nothing at 140. Nothing at 135. Nothing at 130. Nothing at 126. Nothing at 122. The only champions that I'm sorry. There's some more because we got some. Where are the Mexican American ones? So, like, you would have David Benavidez. You might have Daniel Roman. Is Daniel Roman from the UK? Is he from Mexico? But really, man, those dudes are Mexican fighters. That's how I see it anyway. But it would be tough. You'd have to rely on Mexicans. That's it. If it wasn't out for all you would have is Mexican fighters. That's it. That's it. And now they would be killing your people. Now I think through the absence, they would wind up killing people. Like they would wind up dominating 147. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Farmer. There would be no Farmer. Nope. Farmer not at 126. No Farmer. Come on, man. Dude, see, the thing is, that's what we were allowed. That's what, as second-class citizens, that's what we were allowed to do. Play sports and sing. Play sports, sing, and entertain. From the times of the battle royales, Kurt Anderson, you know about them battle royales. The battle royales to the illegal fights, all of that. Yeah, Ward was just straight disrespected, man. Ward was, dude, they were pushing Chocolatito over Andre Ward. You sat there and saw Teddy Atlas just basically spit in the face of Terrence Crawford and Andre Ward for Vasily Lomachenko. Now, here's something else about the United States that you guys outside the United States might not realize. The vast majority of the Americans that you see are immigrants from this century. The vast majority of them. If you hear anybody with a name that's an Italian name, like Malignaggi, more than likely, Paulie Malignaggi's family came over in like the early 1900s through Ellis Island. Most of them are. Most of them did not come from here. Most of their families originate over there over in Europe. And now I'm not talking about 1700s. I'm talking about 1900s through Ellis Island. If you have anybody with a name like Quinacki, Tessitore, Atlas, I think is Greek. I think Atlas is Greek. So Atlas, if their names are not this, Walsh. See, because how many white Walshes do you have in America anymore? And how many do you have in the UK? Think about it. Listen to the names of the British fighters, and how many times their name sounds like a black name in America. Think about it. There's a champion named Williams. What's that guy's name? Tough guy. I think he might be like the 140 pound Commonwealth champion. I want to say it's Gary Williams, something like that. But it's like Gary Williams. You got Smiths. It's not just slaves, but watch. Smiths. Well, it is. Yeah. Smiths. You have Walshes. You have Franklins. In the United States, who are they? Josh Taylor looks like me in the United States. Josh Taylor does not look like Teddy Atlas in the United States. Josh Taylor's walking around with a black name. So except for the Liam part of Walsh, so is he. Teofimo, that's great. Teofimo Lopez. But see, those are Spanish names. Now that's something too. How many people in Mexico don't have Spanish names? How many of them got names like Tecumseh? Things like that. I've not met any. They've got Spanish names. Those names are for Spain. Those names are from Spain, right? Chavez, Garcia, just name it. If it's a Spanish last name, it's European. It's from Spain. Black Americans built America, put a whole lot into it. But anyway, man, the reason I brought that up, man, because I got sidetracked a little bit. I got sidetracked. And by the way, we got 342 people, man. Hit the like button, man. Since we up in, man, hit the like button. My family hit Ellis. Oh, Savage Henry said my family hit Ellis Island in 1917. Yeah, that's what it is. Shit, so did some of my family hit Ellis Island in that time too. Merchant Marines. Now most of them are just, as soon as they got a little chocolate in there, they kick that line out. But it is what it is. Teofimo Johnson said Teofimo Johnson. Don't hurt me, man. I told you I'm not feeling well. But anyway, man, I brought that up to say, look, man, these guys will believe anything. But but these press guys, when they went with that whole shenanigan that took place with Deontay Wilder and his pay-per-views, man, it is like a nail in the coffin for me of the belief that these media guys are completely bought and paid for. If they're not bought and paid for, they're completely intimidated, and or they've selected and favored the guys that think that way so much that now that's what they think success is. That's how you become successful. Because when Deontay Wilder's pay-per-views didn't come out like the Friday after the Luis Ortiz fight, do you guys remember what numbers they gave for that pay-per-view? They gave like 2,500. Somebody was on a boxing scene forum. A boxing scene forum. So basically like this, somebody in the comment section of this video said Rick Glacier told them it was 2,500. And they believed it. And people believed it. Believed it and ran with it. Now, just ignore for the second that that's absolutely foolish. They ran with it, right? Then Rick Glazier got on the Boxing Voice, excuse me, and said, "No, I didn't say that. What I said was 183,000." Okay, you said 183,000. First of all, who the fuck are you? But you said 183,000. Then somebody else said 25,000. Then Dan Rayfield said 238,000, and I believe it was Jake Donovan that gave like 3 different numbers himself, like 3 different numbers. He said somebody told me that it was north of 275, and someone else said just shy of 300,000, and then somebody else said it was comparable to Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter, which is over 300,000, right? So listen, we now have of people that gave their sources and their opinions on Deontay Wilder. We had a range of 2,500 to 300,000. Right? 2,500 to 300,000. Right? None of this can be validated, except for we know pretty damn well that it ain't the 2,500, it ain't the 183,000. But what are they saying? Now here's the thing. What happened after that? Fox announced another pay-per-view with ESPN. If that fight did 183,000 pay-per-views, why in the world would Fox and ESPN want to air another pay-per-view for Deontay Wilder when Tyson Fury wasn't on pay-per-view at all? Why would they want to do that? Does that make sense? For them to double down on their pay-per-view if it was a failure? So for me, all the anecdotal evidence points to that Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz did very well. That it did very well at the pay-per-view. More than likely it did what the guy said around what Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter did. All of these pay-per-views from that the PBC have done have all fallen around that number, with the exception of Manny Pacquiao. They all have. Both of Errol Spence Jr.'s pay-per-views fell around 300 to 350,000. Deontay Wilder's first fight was around 325,000. Then you had the first fight with with Manny Pacquiao that was at 400,000. And I think the second one might have been 450 or something like that. But the numbers stay consistent. Why all of a sudden would that number drop it by a third? Why would it all of a sudden just drop by a third? Now, mind you, we don't have the ability to get their actual numbers. But the 300,000 seemed like it was similar to what people were doing, right? Now, listen to what happened just yesterday. Okay? I was waiting for Barb, which is, let me go to this Barb. Let me go to Barb. I wish I could pull this up, but I can't share my screen on this. Barb is, what's Barb? What does Barb mean about us? How do you, anyways, it's like something Barb, British something broadcasting. Whatever the hell Barb means, it's like Nielsen ratings for the United States. Now, every number that you have that has been given given out as a pay-per-view number for Anthony Joshua has come from Barb. Okay? It's come from Barb. The day after the fight, Eddie Hearn said that the record, when asked how the pay-per-view did, he said, I know that it did very well and we broke the record. Broadcasters Audience Research Boards, thank you, Juniper B, that we broke the record, right? We broke the record. Barb just this week released the numbers. I don't know why they delayed it for a week. I mean, they actually delayed it for 2 weeks because they had the last week of November up and they had the second week of December, but they didn't put up the first week for a while. So I kept going back and checking, kept going back to check. And this time when I went back and they checked. Now, the number on Barb for for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko was 1.5 million, 1.53 million, something like that. But 1.5 million pay-per-views. That was the UK record, right? Eddie Hearn said that they broke the record. And does any of you guys recall any of these AJ trolls saying it was 1.6 million people watched that fight, and then it was the biggest selling fight in the history of the pay-per-view in the history of the UK? Can I get some verification or validation that somebody out there heard somebody say that? Miss Boxing said yep. Okay, he said yep. The numbers for the fight, according to Barb, were 1.28. 1.28. I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I think 1.28 is less than 1.5. And if it was 1.28 and you say it was 1.6 million, how much are you off? You're off. UK paper said it because that's what people reported, because that's what people spread the rumor of being 1.6 million, because they ran with that. Because this is why it said 1.6. It said 1.6 because Eddie Hearn said it broke the record. And the record was 1.58. So they said 1.6. It was more than 1.5, so it was 1.6. That's the number. That's where they got the 1.6. They got it from Eddie Hearn. But Barb, the source of every other number that you get, says it's 1.2. 1.2. So where are the corrections? If Barb can be trusted before, Barb can be trusted now, can't they? Right? But no corrections. I wonder if Steve Kim is going to, when I do a video about that, I wonder if Steve Kim is going to tweet my video out and try to make my channel grow, try to make my channel grow with the trolls. Huh? Use my Twitter, use this Twitter page as a springboard for trolls. Wonder if he'll do that. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, Steve. I wonder if you'll do that. Now go take your pimply face ass, go over there and look at Barb. And come the fuck back over here. Matter of fact, let me give Let me give you guys the link so you guys can look for yourself. Because I need independent, you know what we call it? That is, in consulting, that is an IV&V. That's an independent validation and verification. So I just put that in there, and it's under Skybox Office. Skybox Office for the week ending. You can go to the month and the week. The fight was Saturday, December 7th. And so it'll be for the week of December 8th, week ending December 8th. The link is right there. Go look at it. Go look at Skybox Office. And here's something else somebody hit me to. That there were other events on Skybox Office. There were other events on Skybox Office that week. That the person said they did 200,000 on another event. So that 1.2 million isn't even all him. The 1.2 is not even all him. His pay-per-view more than likely is under $1 million. More than likely it's under $1 million. If they had another event on Skybox Office that week. Where the trolls at? He said, that's true. Nah, Steve gonna run. Nah, he knew that the dude literally tweets out trolls that hate on American fighters. That hate on American fighters. And this is a guy that's supposed to be American. I'm telling you, a lot of these guys don't like Americans. They don't like Americans. A lot of the way that these people act, they don't like Americans. They were raised with an immigrant mindset. And I know the immigrant mindset. You run into the immigrant mindset. It's even people that come over here have a mindset about how they perceive Native Americans. Trolls, oh yeah, man. I mean, dude, they gotta earn a living. Not everybody can have our supporters. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you fan. Not all y'all, not all of them can have you guys as supporters. See, we've weeded out those people. And since we weeded them out, it's more room for everybody, for healthy-minded, productive people to join the chat. Because see all that blue over there? You talk crazy over here and make shit uncomfortable, you're gonna get blasted up out of here. Quickly. Like it's landmine immediately. You stepping on a landmine and you get out of here. Which means that people that really enjoy the content want to be here. Oh, Manson said, I'm from the UK and I can see this from afar. Yay, thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that. Because they don't like American fighters. Steve Kim doesn't like American fighters. He likes Japanese fighters. Big time on Japanese fighters. Dude, I watched this guy put out, watch this. This dude on his Twitter feed. These guys, it was several people. They put out who is going to be the next big fighters in the year 2020, right? The only Americans on that list, the big fighters, for the next decade coming up, 2020 to 2030, who are the big fighters that are going to come up? They had, matter of fact, let me go to this on a different Twitter page. You can't block me off your Twitter page, dude. Because I got all kind of Twitter feeds. Yeah. Okay? So don't waste your time. What's this? Let me see. Watch this. Okay, look, watch this. The top 5 guys for the next 20. Who will define boxers in the 20s? This is the list. Virgil Ortiz, Xander Sayas, Daniel Dubois, Boots Ennis, Israel Madrimov. Okay, now, who are the Americans on this list? Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis. Do you realize that Virgil Ortiz is the same age? Virgil Ortiz is roughly the same age as Teofimo Lopez. Do you realize that he's also almost the same age as Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney? So can somebody please tell me why Xander Sayas, however you pronounce his name, and let me go to BoxRec. I think he's 4-0. Something like that. Xander Sayas is 2-0 from Puerto Rico. 2-0. I guess you could say he's an American. 2-0. 2-0. What has a guy that is 2-0 done to declare himself to be the future of the from 2020 to 2013? And he's a welterweight who will be fighting in the same weight class as Teofimo Lopez for that whole time. But you find a way for Israel Mandermoth. Now, I don't mind Daniel Dubois as a heavyweight. But come on, man. Who is that Xander guy? No one knows him here. I mean, he's from I think he's from Puerto Rico. He's probably signed to Top Rank. If I had to bet, I would say he's somebody that was signed to Top Rank. Let me see. Yeah, he signed to Top Rank. I predicted he's signed to Top Rank. That's funny. I didn't even look. I swear I didn't look at that. He signed to Top Rank. That's what he did. He signed to Top Rank. That's why he made that list. Because he signed to Top Rank. That's why. That's why you got a guy on your list who's 2-0 over Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, who is already a 126-pound champion and easily has another 10 years in him. Am I missing something? Technically speaking, I think Puerto Rican's American, though. Yeah, he's 2-0. Oh, man, Narco Champion TV over say, wow, he's from Puerto Rico, and I don't even know him. Dog, that's the game, dog. That's the game. If you have if the 5 top fighters in the world were Black Americans, they would kick off 3 of them. Because you overdid the quota. You overdid. What about Lil B-Hop? What about Lil B-Hop? No Lil B-Hop? No Lil B-Hop. Right? Couldn't find room for Lil B-Hop on there, huh? Old Meter loves to do that shit. Facts. Dude, what I'm saying is that they are bought and paid for by the promoters, man. They're bought and paid for by the promoters. You're not getting an objective opinion. You're getting a marketing ploy. That's what you're getting. There's no way that you could tell me that this guy, 17 years old with 2 professional fights. You might as well say Joey Spencer. Why not Joey Spencer? Why not Joey Spencer? Joey Spencer's undefeated and he's got more fights. Why not Joey Spencer? Because that's too many Americans on the list. I'm telling you, it's too many Americans on the list. For Americans. Okay, your boy's a beast. Let me see. You know how many beasts there are, man? All these guys are beasts, man. They're all beasts. They're all beasts. He's got 2 fights, man. He's got 2 fights. He's a super welterweight with 2 fights. At super welterweight with 2 fights. He's going to get the shit beaten out of him, and I don't even have to see him fight. Let me break this to you. He's going to get busted up. How many fights does he have? He's got 4 fights. And they all took place this year. Well, in the last, I guess he fought once in 2018. Who's he fight for? Matchroom. Let me see. Do any of these fighters fight for the PBC? Maybe Boots Ennis. Maybe Boots, but Boots Ennis is not a PBC fighter. Boots Ennis is managed by, what's the name of that train? What's the name of the manager, promoter for him? The guy that used to manage, he used to manage Mikey Cameron Duncan. He's with Cameron Duncan, right? So you got Jaron Ennis. The only guy you could no Erickson Lubin. That'd be too much like Erickson Lubin. No J-Rock. No J-Rock either. No, J-Rock's not going to make it. J-Rock's not going to make it 7 years. It's just, dude, you can predict this stuff. That's why I say it's just cornball stuff, man, because you can predict it. It's predictable. A for 9, but we got the LDBC on their neck. Yes, we do. Which kills me about you. Yeah, absolutely. We got a whole bunch of guys with IQs below 90. They can still figure out your bullshit. So if my IQ is below 90 and I can see your bullshit, then what the fuck are you? Your shit's just out there plain fucking sight for anybody to see. It's not rocket science to see what these guys are doing. It's not rocket science. They're not really making, just saying Masvidal impressed me. I don't have any doubt that all those guys are good fighters. I don't have any doubt that all of those guys were good fighters. I don't. I have no doubt whatsoever. Like, I don't doubt that. I think that Chocolatito's a good fighter. Exactly. Kenneth Johnson, predictable and repeatable. You know the game's up. It's predictable and it's repeatable. Just like the fact that nobody's saying anything about Deontay Wilder's. When Bob Arum said Deontay Wilder's pay-per-view was going to do 2 million pay-per-view buys, have you heard anybody really going off about Bob Arum's prediction that fight's going to do 2 million pay-per-view buys? Yeah, have you heard anybody laughing at it and clowning it and say it's going to flop and putting out articles about the ticket sales? Have you guys seen that? I haven't seen it. Now, I might have missed it, but I haven't seen it. And since I haven't seen it, I haven't heard anybody talking about it, you know what the deal is. Bob Arum is promoting that fight. So if you don't want to sit in the back of the truck, if you don't want to sit in the production truck out in the parking lot, you're going to shut your ass up and leave it alone at best. You support it for sure. Support it if you can. And if you don't, shut your ass up. Because Bob Arum can say it's going to do 3 million pay-per-view buys. But hey, let Al Heyman say he's got $50 million for an Anthony Joshua fight. And the answer is, who? Where is he going to get $50 million? You know, the guy that's been going out of business every day for the last 10 years. He should have fought Gigi. That's not me. Will Bob Arum ever get tired of being mad and talking trash? Nah. Man, he makes a ton of money doing that, man. That's him. He's in his element, homie. He's in his element. Yeah, bought and paid for, man. They're bought and paid for, man. Bought and paid for. You have to have access to these fighters, access to these gyms to get and talk to these guys and meet with these guys. And the only way that they're going to give you that access is if you write something positive about them. And and anybody that is neutral or competing with them, they're going to get the heat. They're going to get the heat. They're going to get the heat. So you can be balanced. Liars. Just liars, man. Nah, he should have stayed away from. That's not for me. The lowest common denominator, is an absolute joke. Joshua undies. He wear Anthony Joshua underoos. No, man, he just Bob Arum. It's Bob Arum, and it's Bob Arum. It's Eddie Hearn, and that's the circle that they swim in, man. That's the circle that they swim in, and they're going to promote their fighters. It's not journalism. It's not critical journalism. It's a marketing department. They're marketing departments for a product, and I find it hilarious that these dudes have to resort to retweeting my trolls. My trolls. Amazing. Couldn't get 600 people on a live stream if you paid them. Couldn't get 600 people at a time in a live stream if you paid them. And OG Boxing Talk sits at 700-800 people for the whole show. Trill Boxing Talk every day of the week. It's got 600-700 people in there the whole show. They couldn't do it if they you couldn't do it if they paid. They could not do it if you paid them. Okay? And that is the power of the LDBC. Because quite honestly, man, the live streams and the amount of videos, see, because this is something we do too. We do opinion-based videos. So there's very few channels that do just like in the LDBC that only do like interviews where they just let the guy talk, or they play a clip of somebody, they play a clip of an interview. So you can get a lot of subscribers based on the clips of the interviews. Very few people really do that. But when you get that, when you do that, you're not necessarily telling somebody what you think, right? Now, Blue Blood does that, and Blue Blood also tells you what you think. So he's not just a videographer. He will also tell you what he thinks, and he has live streams that are talking about his opinion. So people wind up getting his perspective and respecting his perspective, and then looking at his perspective and comparing it to what the mainstream media does, and then they get to draw their own conclusion. Oh, Kamir second say, yeah, there are a bunch of yes men. Who takes Aram's jobs after he's gone? Either his Carl Moretti or his son-in-law Todd DeBuff. I'm not sure. I would suspect it'd be one or two, either Todd DeBuff or Carl Moretti. That's what I would think. So, hey, Todd DeBuff, yeah, well, that's his son-in-law. The family side of it is there with Todd DeBuff, because that's his son. I believe that's his stepson. But been in his life a long time, so I would suspect it would be Todd DeBuff or it could be Carl Moretti. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Hopefully we live long enough to see. But I'm not looking forward to that happening anytime soon, man. I don't wish anything bad like that I don't wish anything like that too soon on Bob Arum. I hated seeing Ward become a company man. Disappointed me. Hey, man, look, they didn't pay that dude. They didn't get that dude the Adrian Bronner money. He didn't get that money like that. He made a couple really big paydays with Sergey Kovalev. But no, they weren't trying to make no star out of Andre Ward. Also, Andre Ward was in a funny weight class. He's not like really a big money weight class. Like, besides that, 168 is not a big money weight class. It's not like you're a welterweight. It's not welterweight, it's not heavyweight. Those are the big money. Those are really the big money divisions are welterweight and heavyweight. And he's at 160, 168. Dang, Nargo. You raw with that, man. You raw, man. You raw. Yeah, Ward had to get paid, man. But also he rides with from my understanding, he rides with his manager. Right? I think that's a team. I think that's a team. He and his manager, and his manager has fighters assigned to Top Rank. So, seems like he's with them. I think he's, rides with his manager. And I can respect that. His manager is a very respectable guy. And, if he follows the advice of his manager, I don't have a problem with that, man. And he's also a promoter, which means he can get some of the fighters that are managed by James Prince on there, onto, some cards that he might be able to produce, that he might promote. Hey, man, that's an opportunity to build a business down the road. So, what's going on, Renee Boxing? He said his old promoter had to die for him to get free. Well, really, I read the case, Drink More Water, and they just needed to move it to Texas. They just moved it to Texas and they dropped it right away. They were able to change the venue from California to Houston. And when they did that, it was a wrap. They just folded because they knew they weren't going to win that. And I do believe that the real issue was between the Goosens and a promoter who bought out the interest of Roy Jones Jr. So, I just watched your video on DAZN, possibly increasing prices. Crazy, man. Great video. Thanks, Renee Box Young. Yeah, they're nuts. But, they do what they do, man. But look, man, I'm going to get out of here a couple minutes early today. I really appreciate you guys coming. Please make sure you come by OG Boxing Talk this Sunday, 8 a.m. with myself, Blood, KQKC, Trap House Boxing, and Curtis, the boxing historian Curtis Anderson. If KQKC, if you're on here, man, come on a little bit early, KQKC, because your boy is dying out here. Oh, say, okay, is promoter dying is more sensational? Oh, is a more sensational? No, they use that as a way to tear down. Andre Ward, and saying, oh, what a terrible person he is. What a terrible person he is because he sued this old sick man. It's like, man, that's not even what that shit was about. You got to read. From what I recall of reading the actual complaint, the manager, basically the Goosens, screwed over a co-promoter. When Andre Ward changed from Showtime and he went over there to HBO, when they started seeing that they got a bigger money contract at HBO, they tried to cut out a smaller promoter. The smaller promoter had bought his interest from Roy Jones, because if you recall, Roy out of the Olympics, Roy Jones Jr. Andre Ward was co-promoted with Goosen and Roy Jones Jr. Then Roy Jones Jr. sold his interest in Square. I think he had Square Ring Promotions, but sold it to a guy that was out of Houston, and they paid him a couple times. But then when they shifted over to the US to HBO, he stopped paying them. And the problem with the reason that he originally won, that Dan Goosen originally won it, was that there was an arbitration clause in the agreement that said that you would go to binding arbitration, and that the arbiter of the issue was going to be the California State Athletic Commission. And since it was the California Athletic Commission, they said something about how the agreement was invalid because it was over a certain amount of time. But because it was invalid, then that means that the transfer of promotional rights from Roy Jones Jr. to the second guy, that was also invalid. So as a result of Andre Ward and those guys being right, they wound up losing. So then they went on ahead and they appealed it, but then eventually they took it to federal court, and the federal court in Houston agreed to hear it on the idea that this was a federal case, because Showtime and HBO is internet, because it's cross state, right? So it's a matter of interstate commerce, and because they said it was a matter of interstate commerce, the federal court accepted that, and then they took the case on in a federal court in Houston, and they dropped the case. That wasn't nothing but, from what I could see, that was Dan Goosen trying to get sneaky and snatch all the money for himself. That's what it looked like to me, and use the California State Athletic Commission to do it. Oh, said, man, I thought you were leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving. Yeah. Oh God, man, you got me on that subject though. So thanks for the breakdown. No worries. Drink more water, man. Much love to everybody, man. Go over to KQKC Boxing, who's coming up next. And with that, I'm out. Peace.